Hello, ladies. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I feel like I haven't got on here in a long time, but really it's just been a week. So for those of you who are new to my Empowered Fitness Coaching group, I want to say hello and welcome. For those of you who are coming back, I want to say thank you for coming back and being consistent, because that shows and proves to yourself that you can be disciplined despite when motivation kind of tanks. All right, guys. So every Wednesday, I like to talk about some hot topics, and I would love to hear from you. If you have a hot topic, please DM me any of your questions in the realm of nutrition, fitness, and mindset, because in case you didn't know, I am a transformation coach. I've been in the business of building bodies for over 2 decades, and it is my passion. It is my purpose. And it's just what I love to obsess over in the healthiest way possible, if you can. Consider obsession and healthy the same thing. I don't know about that. I'm also a TV fitness expert for the Pittsburgh Today Live morning show here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you are not in Pittsburgh, drop in the comments, where do you live? Tell me, I want to know. And I want to thank that person who invited you here. I'm also a bikini pro. I am wearing my Yorton Cup champion hat from last year's Organization of Competitive Bodies competition. They are going on their 20th year anniversary, and I'm going to be a part of the show again this year. I have quite a competition season coming up upon me, and I'm just so grateful for it and really looking forward to it. On top of that, I also own and operate a pole dance studio outside of the Pittsburgh area called Fitness Envy, and I've been doing that for about 13 plus years. It all goes quick. So like you, I wear many hats, and that is just part of my profession, and I would love to hear perhaps what you struggle with balancing work, play, and every day. But without further ado, today's chat is a really, really important one. And it seemed to be a reoccurring theme with my transformation clients. They're a part of a program, a one-on-one coaching program that I call Envision. And the question I typically get when I do a discovery call with someone, they say, Aubrey, am I going to have to track my food? I hate that. And usually 80% of the time I say yes. However, it is dependent on the individual. 20% of the time I say, well, not yet. Or we are going to modify it. Sometimes people come to me and they have a history of disordered eating or an eating disorder. And that's where we fall into maybe not yet type of category. So maybe you find yourself in this hamster wheel of insanity, that you're like, oh man, I'll do really good. I'm motivated come the first of the year, the first of the month, or every Monday I'm motivated to start to track my food. But Aubrey, I'm sick of it. I'm so exhausted from it. Why do I always feel like I'm doing this? And in the same note, we all know somebody. We all know somebody who knows somebody. This isn't a mythical human being, right? Who is so intuitive and instinctive with their eating. You never hear them food shame themselves. They are what we would view as maybe naturally, quote unquote, thin or lean or appearing to be fit and healthy. And it seems like they just eat whatever they want. Now, we don't know this person's background, but maybe they were just born like that out of the womb. And I look at my son like this. He is a very intuitive eater. He's 8. And I think that he's been blessed with a lot of good things that my husband and I set him up for. But I don't want to go down the road of just relating to kids, because right now we can't. Instead, I want to give you an analogy. And I got inspired today listening to a podcast that is my new obsession. It's called Mind Pump. It is the #1 health and fitness podcast, I believe, in Podcastville, specifically the US. So what they were talking about today, someone did call in, and I thought, this is a sign I need to talk about this. And this particular listener was really concerned because she's like, I don't know how to get out of this counting and tracking and obsessing over numbers. And I'm going to tell you something, gals. Part of the reason why I continued in this field is because I wanted to crack my own code. I wanted to figure myself out. Why did I always feel like I was a victim to food or a slave to calorie counting, that sort of thing? There was a time in my life I knew the macro profile of everything before there was an app to it. And it did not serve me well after a while. So sit up straight, take a breath, and let's listen up. I have some notes here. So I want you to drop in the comments and be interactive with me. If you are currently tracking your food, either writing it down, measuring it, and logging it in an app on your phone. If that is you, I want you to give me a thumbs up emoji in the comments, even if you're catching this on the replay. And I want to give a shout out to some people I see who are jumping on. Jesse, hello. Kelly, KJ, nice to see you gals, at least on here, right? I hope you guys are having a great day. Okay, so here's the deal. The first time that you tried to learn how to ride a bike, you couldn't do it, right? You had to put, maybe back in my day, it was training wheels. Now they have these like Strider bikes and balance bikes. But regardless, the first time that anybody gets on a bike, you're kind of a disaster, right? You need the training wheels, maybe you need a helmet, you need knee pads, and you're falling all over the place. And it's really crunchy. You're getting frustrated. You get some boo-boos. But there's something inside of you where you're like, but I really want to do this. There's this intrinsic motivator. And you've seen other people ride bikes where eventually they don't need those training wheels. They don't need the wobbly stage. And they don't even think about it. They become one with the bike. So that's where I'm going with this. Most of my clients, we start off together becoming an informed eater. So what is a serving size? What is considered a good protein source? What is a good fat source? What has the most micronutrients in it to help my body flourish and thrive? Then we add another layer into it. We see the data and we see like, okay, this food has this many calories in it, this many grams of fat, this many carbohydrates. However, how does that food make you feel? Is it easy on your digestive system? Does it bloat you? Does it cause skin breakouts? Does it make you feel lethargic? Does it give you energy? So all of these things we start to shed a light on. Now, at first, it's very common with my clients. They get frustrated. They're like, Aubrey, I don't want to do this, but I already paid you, so I got to follow through with it. So I tell them, okay, that's all right. We're going to lean into the uncomfortability and we're going to get through this until finally they start having these light bulb moments because they stayed disciplined, and they stayed disciplined during the wobbly stage. Typically, we need someone to guide us through the wobbly stage of riding a bike, right? We need someone to give us feedback. We need someone to cheer us on. We need someone who has done it, right? Who has mastered riding a bike, and they can teach us how to ride a bike. Typically, we don't learn how to ride a bike from someone who doesn't know how to ride a bike. Yeah. So let's relate it to what I do and how I can help you today, how I can help you in this moment become at one with the bike and at one with your body. So number one is, let's say right now, you want to give yourself that moment to be like, okay, I want to track my food. If I don't track it every day, I'm going to do the best that I can. Oftentimes people are tracking during the weekend. On the weekends, it's like a free-for-all. And so we have this swinging pendulum. Maybe, number one, you could break up your week like this to say, okay, I'm going to log my food and feel successful on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then I'm going to log my food on the weekends. One day over the weekend. So right now, you're seeing your habits, your behaviors, the foods that you're choosing during the week. And since you become a different person on the weekends, then you can say, okay, these are my patterns on the weekends. And as we start to see this, number two is to start to allow yourself to have grace in the fact that you are a human being learning a skill. Sometimes for some of us, and especially in this day and age, we live in an environment full of distraction, full of food confusion, food noise, as now it's being labeled, and we get derailed because we're still a little wobbly at this. And if you can give yourself that grace and say, well, you know what, I'm just learning my body now at the age of 35. I'm just learning my body at the age of 40. I'm learning my body at the age of 55. Because this is the first time you've been this age, in this stage. And we are forever changing beings. If we were not, we would be robots. Okay, so we have signed up to be a human being, and this is what we're being right now. Okay, so the next point I want to address is, how do you know when you graduate from being the informed eater, collecting the data, really being mindful, tuning in to how food affects your mood, your lifestyle, all those things, and then you graduate. You graduate because you've evolved. You don't graduate and then rebound. If you find yourself back in that insanity hamster wheel and you are continuing to rebound, this is a red flag. And this should be your wake-up call to hire someone to help you, because you've been the disaster, you're not the master yet. Gals, we got one life to live in this earth suit. We don't want to have that rocking chair moment where you look back and you're 80 and you say, crap, I never really became the master because I didn't ask for someone to help me during my wobbly stage. If that resonates with you, can you give me some claps? I'm going to clap for myself. I'm going to clap for myself on that. All right. So let's say now I see KJ on here. She is, I would say she's really about to graduate into becoming that intuitive eater. But then she's like, well, now what? What's my next goal? She might be in a maintenance phase, or she might want to say, well, I want to take it to that next level. So it's a matter of knowing where you are and where you want to go. If you're in a maintenance phase and you feel like, yes, I don't need to log everything that I'm putting in my mouth, and you like the person that you see in the mirror, you feel good, all those things, congratulations. Snaps to you. You are now currently in the intuitive eating phase. And I ebb and flow with this throughout my year personally, because for me, as I am competing in bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding, you know, there's scheduled eating. There's times where, do I feel hungry and I want to eat? Yes, I put feeling hungry on here just to get your attention. No, in the morning, I'm typically hungry, but I'm drinking some coffee right now. And after this, I'm going to go I just had my heavy metal detox smoothie. I'm going to probably have an apple after this. Okay. So anyway, I digress. As you start to feel like you become a pro in your own body, this is something to celebrate. People say all the time, well, you know your body best. And I rebuttal that. I've worked with so many people, I don't think that they know their body best yet. We could say, well, you should. Well, then we're shaming ourselves. It's like, well, I don't know my body because I've been running around like a maniac. There's so many distractions. I'm taking care of everybody else, making sure that they're all good in the hood. And I didn't make time for myself because I got distracted. And that's okay. The beautiful thing is that you notice that you got distracted enough to wake up enough and now to make that change. All right, so let's review here. Number one, if you are in the beginning stages of a transformation, yes, I am going to highly recommend that you track your food and log how that makes you feel. Be a little detective in your own life. Oftentimes, I just ask a series of questions to people whenever they tell me the most common things. Aubrey, I'm not losing weight. I'm gassy and bloated. I don't think that I can make any progress. So I ask a series of questions until they're like, oh, aha, yeah, that does make sense. And then we can start to curtail the behaviors and just integrate one little behavior change per week. The wobbly middle stage is where I get to my clients to be probably around months 5 or 6 working with them. Everybody's different now. And that's where they're like, can I do this on my own? I've proven to myself that I can be disciplined by showing up for our weekly accountability check-ins, for our bi-monthly calls, that sort of thing. I'm accountable to these Wellness Wednesday chats, but I still feel a little wobbly and I need that additional support. So no matter where you are, you want to create a system of accountability, whether it's with someone like me or a spouse or a friend, or showing up to this group every Wednesday and not breaking that appointment to yourself. Then the mastery stage. How can you become that master in your own food and nutrition? And it's quite simply this. You tell yourself that you know your body best at this point. Don't lie to yourself. Because if you really don't, then you're not in the mastery stage. However, if you've put in the time, the work, the knowledge, you have to deem yourself that. You have to start identifying with like really knowing your body best. A thing that is always reiterated to me when I go to my acupuncturist, and this is a big deal in so many cultures, including ours, Chinese medicine is a big one. But when you sit down to eat your food, really be present with your food. Make out with your food, right? Oh my gosh, I can taste all the flavor in these dates. I can really appreciate this apple, the texture, the way that it's invigorating. I get this burst of energy and joy. Food is not just fuel, guys. It's not just fuel. Food is an experience. Food can be festive. Food can be nostalgic. And at the same time, it can also be harmful. So we can make the choice of the energy of thought that we put around this food, even if it's a food that you don't label as a health food. For example, birthday cake. We just had a group member here. She's a client of mine, Jen Erickson. She just turned 40 and fabulous. And I want you to think like, okay, let's say if it's your birthday coming up, my birthday is coming up in a few weeks. If I have, or I'll use tomorrow. I mean, yesterday as an example. Last night I went out with some girlfriends and it was a friend of ours birthday, Rachel, and Alyssa Siegel. She bought these cupcakes that her friend made. She has a bakery. And right now I'm in the season of like just relaxing and asking myself, is this something that I would like to experience right now? And I felt like, okay, there was good energy behind this whole event. And yes, it was something that I wanted to experience. I detached from, oh my gosh, is this going to fit my macros? And I enjoyed this cupcake that tasted like angel food cake with some like whipped almond icing and some raspberry. And I know that it was good. For me, it was calories worth spent in the moment. So from that standpoint, I want you to think the energy that you put behind that moment of joy and bliss and celebration. Now, there's a ton of birthdays coming up that are a part of my close friend group. I don't know if I'm going to be having cupcakes at every event. So you see what I mean? It's a matter of, okay, I am the master at this. And it's a matter of me saying, okay, I am just being in the moment versus like letting the moment take me over. And there is a difference. You know what I mean? Like if you're at a kid's birthday party and you're like, oh, I was starving and, you know, I only had 2 pieces of pizza and then soda and some popcorn, but I was so hungry, right? And then you felt like crap afterwards. For me, I didn't feel like crap after this meal. I really enjoyed the meal. So there is something to not shame yourself about, but to learn from that experience. So as you start to stack these different scenarios, you have to be very, very aware of the difference. Awareness is key. So the more you start to practice an awareness behind each meal, say a blessing, an energetic blessing over your meal. Imagine that food going to the cells of your body, the muscles of your body, fueling them, making you stronger. The power of our mind as adults is something that we neglect at least once a day. You are the master of your mind. Maybe you're not a master in the food category, but you are the master of your mind. because either you are bringing in good things or you're bringing in struggling things. And you could be a master at both, right? You could be a master of, I'm a master of just self-deprecating thoughts, or I'm a master of being positive Polly, or I'm a master of somewhere in between. So you can shift those gears to master your thoughts, put that energy behind the food, and you're going to have a whole different experience and relationship with food because of that. And this is really going along with mindful eating. So in summary, I want to encourage you, I'm reading from my notes here, that, really no matter where you are, allow yourself to check yourself before you wreck yourself, my friends. If this Wellness Wednesday chat was helpful for you, please give me a thumbs up. I want to hear from you guys. All right. I will be emailing this out. Some other things to stay aware to. I just finished my Perfect 10 free fitness challenge. I will be offering another one in March. I'm going to be updating the P10 document. If there's something in P10 that you have feedback on, please let me know. I can only make this program better as I put others through it, as I live the P10 lifestyle. I would say probably right now, 80% of the time, I live the P10 lifestyle when I would say in show mode, like 99% of the time. And what is a P10 lifestyle? Well, it's whole foods, it's a gratitude practice, it's exercise snacking, and we don't count macros in P10, right? It's a matter of there's certain foods I know nourish my body really, really well, and certain foods that I try to avoid because I have goals. That's basically the P10 lifestyle. I could probably write that down and articulate that better. Okay. And if you haven't answered this question, where do you feel like you are in your food journey, in your intuitive journey? Do you feel like you're a disaster right now? Do you feel like you're wobbly, or do you feel like you're a master? Please drop that in the comments, guys. And I don't want to ramble, but I hope that you have the most patient, loving day today. I thank you for showing up on this call. Please invite a friend to this group who you think would benefit, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Ciao for now.